Okay, we're ready to go. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the Ubisoft stuff with the cruise again.
Yeah, there's a lot of updates since then, since we last covered this. I don't know, a lot of people have latched on to this campaign.
All right, I got to share screen.
Yeah.
It would help with a co-react.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed Nitro. Hopefully my computer can
Yeah.
handle it. Should be fine.
Yeah.
Is it coming through?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, perfect. Is there any
Any what?
I just realized the screen changed on me. So it was hiding your VTuber. Anyways, is there any preamble you want to do before we actually get into it?
Well, the last time we covered this, there were it was like the preliminary plans video that he made, and he said that and yeah, back then he said like there's gonna be there's gonna be like there's gonna be a campaign on April after the crew gets shut down, and like fast forward to here, and like I think you should. I'd also love you to see the updates on Canada and such, because long story short, you can do a lot more than I can
Oh,
than
that's
where I
true.
live.
Yeah,
And
we're gonna have to see.
yeah, showed this to the leader of my dance club as well before.
Oh yeah? I guess
Yeah.
without further ado, we'll just jump right on into it. Oh, had the group PNG. There we go. Let's go.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Ross, and I enjoy video
Hi,
games.
Ross.
Or a lot of them. I also enjoy owning things. You know, like things in my hand or my immediate vicinity that I use frequently. When I walk down the street, I like how people don't usually run up to me and try to take the clothes off my back, because it's generally understood by society that those are mine and belong to me. But see, just by me saying those things, we already have a problem. Yeah, you can probably see where this is going. The video game industry has a lot of problems. Like, a lot of problems. I think regulators have no idea, actually. But there's one problem in particular I've been hating for decades, and it's getting worse and worse. And that is destroying video games so that no one can ever play them again. And I don't mean your brother sticking a disc in the microwave so that your copy is destroyed. I mean everyone's. There's a really specific way this happens. Just as a quick refresher, for most of gaming history, this hasn't been much of an issue. Most games contain the code that interfaces with the hardware and run the game, and that's the whole story. Now, for online multiplayer games, it's a little different, where a lot of the older ones will let players host the server that runs the game, then other people will connect to it, or sometimes give you the software to make that server a standalone thing and connect to that. But over time, more and more companies decided, hey, instead of letting the player host the game, what if we did it instead? Well, there are pros and cons to that, but that can be a valid approach. In theory. But here's the problem. The games industry has a horrible, horrible track record of maintaining its own games. There was a large study conducted last year that showed only 13% of published video games are still available by the publisher commercially. So what happens when the publisher takes over the responsibility of running the game? Well, it's usually pretty good while they support the game. Then when they stop, it's a complete nightmare and has been responsible for destroying more video games than any other practice. That's a big shift, because the industry is trying to get users to go from a model where they get to keep their game, regardless of when support ends, to one where the game dies forever. I'm not a fan. For companies that do this, the number of games that survive in any form, forget being available commercially, is a lot worse than 13%. I did an informal investigation on it a few years ago and found it was closer to 3%. I think that number may have gotten even lower since I did that. From my perspective, this has felt like a slow-moving coup to take away ownership from more and more people over time. So video game publishers are making billions selling you a game as a good, not telling you how long it will last, purposefully killing it later so you're left with nothing, but then they get to keep your money. Now don't confuse this with rentals. Rentals are sold as a service and tell you exactly how long they last. A customer who rents something is informed. Video game publishers don't want that.
God, I
because
miss
they know if they
renting
put on the
games.
box exactly how long the game will last, then that will hurt sales a lot. So it's important to withhold that information from the customer, because customers are used to video games lasting forever, more or less. You could have bought games from the 70s that still work today. You could have bought games from the 90s with online multiplayer that connect to the internet that still work today.
Yeah.
Even if the companies that made them no longer exist. But a lot of publishers like to place modern video games that are designed to die, but they won't tell you when, right alongside ones that last forever, so they can try to cash in on customer confusion. Because the average person believes they are buying something. Now, I personally hate this practice because art has innate value to me. And while it's debatable if video games are art, they undeniably contain art. So seeing games destroyed to me is the same as if someone were to walk into an art museum and start torching the paintings. And it's insult to injury that companies that do this face no penalties. Nor is there a good reason for them doing it. I won't get into the details here, and you may hear excuses as to why companies have to destroy your games,
Hey, Hero.
even though they largely didn't used to do that, even for online multiplayer.
Yeah, hi, Hero.
But what I found is that the people saying that tend to either be uninformed or else incredibly unimaginative and can only see things one way.
Okay, we're like 5 minutes into this, and I haven't really said much of anything, mostly because I don't have a whole lot to add to this. And, well, it's pretty important that people just hear about it.
Yeah.
I guess I'll save my thoughts for like the end, because like honestly, I've nothing to really add to this.
This affects me because look at what I'm using. This relies on a central server.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like that's something
One day
that
this could
I
code
want to get
that-
into too,
this-
but lacking the model.
This this could one day cease to exist.
Yeah, and we'd have to try and hope something else
Yeah.
pops up, or hope
Yeah.
somebody else can figure something else. God, I wish I
Yeah.
actually stuck around college long enough
This
to
is
learn Unity.
Which is why I want this to succeed.
Yeah, it's pretty important to be able to, keep the stuff you paid for.
Yeah,
Especially when it's
especially
digital,
with
it
the
doesn't-
creator. Yeah, especially with the creator economy.
Oh yeah,
Since
absolutely.
now people can buy things in VR chat.
When we order the pancakes, they're gonna bring the maple syrup.
Maple syrup is supposed to be on the table before the pancakes.
Of course, when they bring the maple syrup after the pancakes, it'll definitely be too late.
How is that gonna be too late, huh, right?
Yeah, talking with people who defend this practice can feel a lot like that.
Yeah,
I'm reminded of when Microsoft was sued by the Department of Justice for bundling Internet Explorer with Windows, and Microsoft claimed it was impossible to separate it from Windows 98, even though it wasn't even with Windows 95 when it launched. And through the power of hindsight, they actually did remove it from Windows years later. So it was possible earlier, it's possible in the future, but it's impossible right now because the company has spent a lot of time trying to make it difficult. That is such a good analogy for what is happening with games. You have no idea. Anyway, no matter how you look at it, this is such an obvious assault on consumer rights. And in any other industry, a company destroying what they sold you would be illegal. If only there was something we could do about this. Well, as it so happens, we have the best opportunity ever to take action on this. A few months ago, the company Ubisoft announced it was shutting down a game of this nature called The Crew. Now, The Crew, I think, is a flawed but remarkable game, but none of that matters here. What matters is it had at least 12 million players, so this affects a lot of people. And Ubisoft is headquartered in France, and France has some of the strongest consumer laws in the world. See, this isn't really about The Crew or even Ubisoft. It's about trying to find a weak link in the industry so governments can examine this practice to stop publishers from destroying our games. Outside of the United States, this practice is very hazy legally. Many governments don't even have laws regarding this. I'm not kidding, more on that later. If we can find even one major country to penalize this practice, that might fix everything. Because the thing about letting you keep your game is
Yeah.
it's not that
Gotta set
expensive for companies to
precedent.
do it, especially if it's a known requirement from the beginning. Then it's almost negligible. So if a company knows they have to let you keep your game in one country, they may as well make it global policy because then they've already done the work. It really could take just one victory to end this. So even if you have no interest in The Crew, If you just want to keep your games, keep watching, there's more. Hearing about this shutdown has caused me to go on a research odyssey to see if I could find any possible way to get governments to examine the legality of destroying your games. I have been waiting for an opportunity like this. This problem has been going on for decades, but it usually only affects a small minority of players that are too dispersed to do much. Most have moved on when a game is killed, and the industry has been counting on that lethargy. So an event like this that's big enough to do something is like the planets aligning. We have to take action on
more
it.
than a half.
Now, I do not think I'm the
handful of
ideal
those
person to
games.
do this. I'm not a legal expert. I have limited reach. Honestly, everything about what I've been doing has been an amateur effort. I don't even want to be doing this. But if you care about this issue, I'm what you're stuck with, because nobody else has stepped up.
Thank you.
And I
by the
guess there
way.
is one thing that makes me a good candidate for this, and that at least with me, you're getting maximum hustle. I have decades worth of resentment on this issue. You know when a dog is eating and somebody yanks away its food bowl, even nice dogs will get angry or even attack you? That's how I feel about the industry on this. Since I started this campaign, I've spent hundreds of hours on it, talked to multiple lawyers, worked with over 100 volunteers, sent hundreds and hundreds of emails trying to chase down every single lead I can find. I have been relentless on this. I've felt it too. In the game trailer for Yes, Your Grace, the king is hearing so many requests from his subjects that at one point he just keels over from it all. Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. And after months of research, yes, I have found ways we can do something. Not just long shots either, but really
Nice.
viable routes. I have found what I think are all the agencies worldwide best equipped to take action on this issue. I've also found dead ends. A lot of dead ends. In fact, I found so many that if I had known earlier what I know now, I could have saved myself at least a month's worth of work. Like I said, this is an amateur effort, so I'm trying to make up for that with even more hustle. And because I'm treating this like it's my only shot, because it probably is, I'm not stopping at the crew. Remember, the crew is just a means to an end, which is to stop companies from destroying your games. So rather than just getting the government to interpret the law, I figure why not go to the source while we're at it? So in addition to the consumer action, we're also pursuing government petitions. Now hold on, I know what some of you are thinking. These are not normal petitions, where you get a bunch of people to sign to show that people care and hope companies do the right thing. Come on guys, give me more credit than that. No, these are
Okay.
government initiatives, where if we pass a certain threshold, the government has to respond. It's the law. And for some of them are almost guaranteed to be debated. Yeah, we'll see, but this is how a lot of laws get made. So what's in these petitions? Well, it varies for every country since they all have different rules, but they all share the same fundamentals. I tried to design the fairest proposals I could that still solve the problem. Yet remember that, naysayers, I'm trying to solve the problem. But I'm also trying to keep the scope as narrow as possible. I am not trying to reform the games industry. I am just trying to stop companies from destroying games that they've sold to you. That's it. So, with that in mind, while the game is being supported, any game, absolutely nothing would happen. Companies could do whatever they wanted. We're going for a light touch. It's only once support ends that requirements would kick in. The first is any game sold, or licensed for those of you who want to be pedantic, will be required to be left in a functional state when support ends. This does not mean a 100% perfect state, but it means a hell of a lot better than completely inoperable. It would also require no connection to the publisher or affiliated parties in order for it to continue functioning. So it would need to be patched to either be offline or have private hosting only. It's the only way. Anything less and the game dies. And yes, this would include DRM that needs to connect to the internet. And because I'm being forced to go to all this trouble, I really want to end this. So this would also apply to games with microtransactions. Except we didn't say microtransactions since these were in plain English. So this would cover free-to-play games, because if you've been sold something like a virtual horse, but then the publisher destroys the game, well, now you can't access your horse. I've been told undisturbed possession is a term for what I'm talking about here. And finally, these rules cannot be superseded by end-user license agreements, since that's how companies have been getting away with highway robbery in the first place, especially in the US. There's no point in having rights if you have to sign them away just to play a game. I'm sure a few of you right now are scoffing at this proposal, but just remember Internet Explorer, guys. It was impossible. And that's it pretty much. Now, one thing we left off the table, but it's kind of an open secret we'd be willing to compromise on, or at least I would be if a company doesn't fix the game, but they give you all the information, tools, software, and so on so that a programmer could be reasonably expected to get it working again.
So make it
Yeah,
open
that's an
source.
acceptable substitute. Though the resentment some others had helping on this was strong, and they didn't trust companies not to abuse a provision like that.
Frankly, what would the issue be if like we're cutting support and then they just here's the source data, do what you
Well,
want.
well,
It's our license.
They
that
aren't
kind of-
really talking about open sourcing here, and they're talking about just giving just the necessary code, just so a programmer can like decrypt it and get the game working that way. So so they don't have to do the extra work they usually have to do.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, people crack stuff all the time. It's just if it doesn't require an internet connection, it's way easier to crack.
Because like the thing is that the thing is that they require essential server, and it's insanely hard to like get a super emulator working without like the information that the company can provide, that the company should be able to provide.
As long as it's not left to completely die and rot.
Yeah.
And they could be right, so we left it out of the proposals. We also left out this applying to all software and restricted it just to video games. Now don't get me wrong, I personally think all commercial software should have these provisions also. But this is already
Flash.
such an uphill battle that expanding the scope would invite many more enemies and weaken our odds. Remember, I am single issue. The point is, even if you don't own the crew, you'll still be able to do something if you live in one of the countries where these petitions were launched. This is a multi-pronged attack. I have prongs for everyone. Well, no, but a lot of people. It's complicated. Remember a while back when there were so many versions of Watch Dogs for sale that somebody made a spreadsheet on how to buy the game? It's not that bad, but it does have a lot of variables. What I found is that what people can do varies on where they live and whether they own the crew or not. But even then, it can still be confusing. So I've seen it as a priority to make this as easy as possible for everyone. To that end, I've been working with volunteers to launch a website to do just that. StopKillingGames.com. I hope you can remember that name. It has the 2 G's there back to back. That might throw some people off. It's a multilingual website that can easily steer you exactly where you need to go to have maximum impact. Some people can do multiple things, so I even tried to prioritize your options a little bit. In fact, you can even just stop watching and go here if you want. There's nothing else you have to know that's not on the site. We have blazed a trail for you to hit back against the industry. All you have to do is follow it. We've done all the hard parts for you. See, people can complain about the games industry, but the reality is all internet comments are meaningless. None of your comments matter unless a government official is reading them. That's what this is. In fact, if you've gotten lost by anything I've said, here's all you need to remember. File complaints if you can, sign petitions if you can, get others to do 1 and 2. And you can do that at StopKillingGames.com. That's it. That's everything. You can tune everything else out like some sort of Zen master if you know those 3 things. But maybe you think I'm exaggerating what we can do. Well, why don't you judge for yourself? Since no one else has stepped up on this issue, I'm assuming command to play general on this attack. So, you want to see my battle plans? I'll show you my battle plans.
Yay.
This could take a little while.
hope they're
Okay,
big.
Future Ross here. Some bad news. Like I said, this is an amateur effort, so even though some of these petitions were submitted weeks ago, at the time of this recording, we're still waiting on all of them to open up for signing. So here I am making a hype video to go send everybody to the right place, and they're still not ready yet. They haven't been rejected, we're just waiting on governments. So this is kind of a nightmare
bureaucracy.
for you. Oh well, we're moving forward anyway. We do have links to where they're going to show up though, so that's something. Okay, battle plans. Now before we get into regions, the first option is worldwide, and it's eligible for literally anyone who owned the crew. Yeah, anyone. Aren't you glad I cleared up those dead ends? Although it does have a critical flaw that can't be avoided. See, the option for all owners of the game is to contact the DGCCRF, France's National Consumer Protection Agency. You go through this website here. They accept complaints worldwide, but there is a catch. The catch is they want everyone to contact Ubisoft first. So that means everyone is going to have to contact Ubisoft support, tell them to fix the game, then when Ubisoft refuses, or 2 weeks have passed, then you can contact France. This is a major setback because gamers are not known for their long attention spans. So asking people to wait up to 2 weeks before taking a second step may ruin us. I may be asking the impossible here, I don't know. This right here could be exactly why the games industry has been able to get away with this crap for so long. Because no one has the attention span for this second step. Some of you can do it.
Pardon?
Since this video was released, like he gave this guy gave this CurseCons guy, they gave an update. They said like it's safe to wait 1 week instead of 2.
Oh,
in order
okay.
through the
That's a little better. It's definitely a little better.
I just want to let you know, and there's another update after the video's over.
Okie dokie.
I'm gonna link to you.
It though. I know it. Some of you. But let's look at the rest of the campaign, because I am not stopping there. God, no. Though remember, everything I'm about to show you can be done in addition to that worldwide step. So there's no one or the other here. And with that, let's start with the outskirts. Australia. Okay, Australia has a two-pronged attack. First, if you own the crew, you can file complaints to the ACCC, and they may do something. There was news not long ago about the ACCC going after the games industry. For God's sake, we need to find a way to piggyback onto this. Don't go after them and ignore customer games being destroyed. Don't do that to me, Australia. But besides that, Australia is also the first of our government petitions. And anyone in Australia can sign these, not just owners of the crew. And honestly, you guys need to hurry up, because once it's approved, we only have a 4-week window. Except, of course, it's not ready yet, even though it's been submitted. They give us a small window, but then don't tell us when it starts. Oh my God. Now, the upside is we only need 50 Australians to sign, but that's nothing. If we show up with 50, they may not take it seriously. I'd rather we showed up with 50,000. It's like a wise game ad once said, there's no kill like overkill. This is the most time-sensitive element of the entire operation. Go sign it as soon as you can. Future Ross again. I just got word from the Australian government that the petition looks fine, but they can't open it for signing until April 22nd or maybe May 15th. They don't know. So they can't even meet the 4-week deadline they're holding us to. What the hell, Australia?
What?
Moving on over, next we have Brazil. Now,
Sign it
Brazil is the
anyways.
wild card in all of this. All the feedback I received said their consumer protection agency would probably be ineffective, but having a class action lawsuit very likely would work. Apparently the argument of we sold you a product but we can take it back at any time doesn't fly with a lot of judges down there. Now at the time of this video, the situation was still in limbo, so this one may or may not happen. If it does happen, however, the cost of a class action lawsuit could be affordable if we have a fundraiser. I was told a 4-figure sum estimate. I currently do not have plans for a fundraiser, but if this looks viable, yeah, we may do one later. Don't worry, 90% of the battle plans still work even if no one spends a dime. Brazil is just part of the attack on all fronts mentality I've been taking. Moving on up is the United States. Okay, and moving on is Canada. Now, the thing about Canada is the federal agencies can't do much on this issue, so we have to look at the provinces. Okay, the United States. Listen, guys, I want to keep it real with you. The US is the suicide mission of this operation. Unlike a lot of other countries, the laws are not gray on this issue. And at this point in time, it's almost hopeless. Almost. Owners of the crew can still contact the FTC, and I've been given coach points by a lawyer we can tell them to increase our odds to look into this. I am still not expecting a victory here. It's more like I just want to be sure our options are truly dead in the United States before I write it off. I don't want to pronounce the patient dead too quickly. You know how that goes. And hey, don't forget, if you own the crew, you still have that option to contact France directly. In fact, I prefer you do that before you contact the FTC, since it has way better odds. Now, if you're an American and don't own the crew, which is probably the majority of my audience, then I have nothing for you. I'm sorry, guys, I really tried. I just couldn't find anything. Game ownership really is as bad as the naysayers say in the United States. The best I can do is tell you to get the attention of someone else who does qualify to do something. Remember the 3 points. If you're an American and don't own the game, you're number 3. All right, back up to Canada.
I'm
and
number
ding,
3
ding,
and I'm
ding.
doing my part.
I guess I'm sort of doing my part too. Also, I can't read that name from here. Yokohane. They reminded me. You haven't introduced yourself to those who don't know you yet. I forgot to ask you to do that, Nessie. Because there's always somebody new with every video. Did you mute yourself?
Oh, sorry. Hey, I'm Nessie. Yeah, I'm here to cover the Stop Killing Games movement by A Curse Farms here.
Yeah,
YouTube, my
Nessie's been the one that's
YouTube
been
channel of all time. Yeah.
Nessie's been the one that's making me aware of it, and well, I'm bringing her on to talk with it.
Yeah, I'm doing my part as number 3 that he just said.
And now we get to find out what my part is. Yay!
Yeah.
Canada has our second petition to government. So if you are a citizen or
Nice.
resident, head on over and sign it. We only need 500 for government to respond. But
Really?
again, let's try to get a lot more than that, eh? Now, for owners
Oh,
of the
yeah,
crew,
eh?
we didn't check every last one, but the provincial consumer protection agencies look pretty dire. I cannot endorse going through them at this time. It's almost certainly going to be better if you just sign the petition. Crossing the ocean again, we have the
Oh,
UK.
okay, so it's just a
and
petition.
it's a similar story as Canada. The consumer protection options look hopeless. But hey, we have a government petition. If we get 10,000 signatures, government will respond. And if we get 100,000, then it's considered for debate in Parliament. Now those sound like big numbers because they are, but we have 6 months to get them. So I think if I keep campaigning, we can do this. And we move inland to the main attack here. First, let's stop by Germany. Germany is one of the few EU countries where their national consumer protection is powerful enough to act on this, despite Ubisoft being a French company. So this is one of the few exceptions where you should contact a local agency first, then contact France, like everyone else. Now, I learned late in the process, Germany and France have the option to petition their governments also. However, their thresholds are kind of high, and I can't hope to cross them without making serious inroads with foreign YouTubers or other media sources first. So if we get enough support and publicity, sure, we can add German and French petitions to the list. But not today. And that brings us to the heart of this, France. This is where our most powerful attacks are. French owners of the crew are the Space Marines of this operation. You have more options than anyone. The more you can do, the better. In fact, most people's best option is probably your weakest. Besides, the DGCCRF will also be sending registered mail to Ubisoft as part of summoning a government mediator to take legal action on the customer's behalf. It's almost like having your own prosecutor. Amazing. And just to hit every last stop, French citizens will be contacting the UFC Que Choisir, a powerful consumer advocacy group with a great record of defending gamer rights. And we actually juiced the whole process in France a little earlier prior to April, but that was the special operations phase of things. That part's over now, so don't worry about it. And for the rest of the European Union, this is where most of our dead ends were. Since first I thought people should contact their consumer protection agencies. By and large, no. They tend to only look at national businesses, and Ubisoft is in France. So then the documentation says to contact the European Consumer Center. And no, I don't advise that either. We did do that for a while, but the answers were all over the place. Some said Ubisoft could do whatever they wanted because of the license agreement. Others said Ubisoft was liable to provide the service forever, which is kind of insane. I mean, that's going farther than even I want. But most of them had no idea how to handle this. One clerk said they had never heard of someone make this kind of complaint before. Another one of them said it is unclear if these actions from the company are legally permitted. There is no clear legal regulation for this. So that's from the European Union itself, guys. There's no consistency. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. There's apparently no laws on this. What year is this? I mean, we're still getting robbed. It's amazing game companies have been able to go on for so long existing between the cracks in the law like this, like cockroaches.
I mean,
we need to shine light on it.
To be fair, how long did it take for people to actually start doing stuff about like loot boxes? And that was only a couple countries in the EU, if I recall correctly.
Loot boxes were a lot more recent of a practice than killing games relying on a central server, to be fair.
That is true. It is a more recent thing, and this is a perfect screen to pause it on. Because, like, dude hates that games are getting killed. You can see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
Don't leave him in a room alone with Ubisoft.
Yeah.
God, I hope we can stop them.
And on that note, the final lane of attack is the Moonshot, which is the European Citizens Initiative. It's like the other petitions, but way bigger. This one is ambitious. It might actually be delusional for me to attempt this. I don't know yet. But we would need 1 million signatures across the entire European Union for this one. And there are some caveats, so in reality, more than 1 million. However, we will have 1 year to get these. I sure as hell can't get this from my audience alone, but that's a lot of time. If I campaign hard enough, maybe we can get those. And if that wasn't enough, this is also the weakest part of the campaign. Because while we're ready to go, it takes months for the EU to approve your proposal before signing. So that means there's going to be months delay between now and when this goes public. That is the kiss of death. That means we'll lose most of the momentum from April and I'll have to come out and campaign for this again months from now. This one may be a bridge too far, I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, this is me attacking on all fronts.
Fair.
And that's the campaign. We have up to 11 fronts of attack, with maybe 13, though in reality 3 of these are pretty iffy. But the rest are relatively solid. This is happening, guys. This strategy is my absolute best effort as an amateur. Now, I'm biased when I say this,
Better effort
but if you
than
care
mine.
about not losing your games in the future, this is the best chance you're ever going to get to do something about it. As far as I know, no one has ever challenged the legality of game destruction, and certainly no one's attempted it on this scale. And I can't say by how much, but this is going to get bigger too. In fact, the next phase after this is to essentially spam myself on the internet to try to get more attention on this. I'll do interviews, appearances, just try to get people to make Twitter posts, whatever. I don't really want to do that, but if that's what it takes to end this, I'll do it.
Oh.
I have a giant list of people I plan to contact, though you don't have to wait. If you
I
have an audience
wonder-
and want me to talk about this, you can save me the trouble and contact me directly. Or you can
Chat, should I? I think I wanna.
Yes, yes, please. I want to too. I've emailed him before, actually, on occasion.
Yeah, I'll shoot him. I'll definitely shoot him an email. See if he's got the time to talk for an hour. Because
Can you involve me in that too, if that's okay?
I do kind of want to do a one-on-one, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Because like I've done interviews before, but this would be a little different than the typical interviews I've
Yeah.
done. Hey, Kudere fanboy.
Hank, Kudere. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be great to hear either way.
Yeah.
skip me entirely. I don't have to be involved in this. Just send people to stopkillinggames.com. It'll take care of the rest. I mean, it's a joke I even have to do any of this for us to try not to get robbed. But that's gaming for you. One thing to keep
It's capitalism for us, but yeah, it's such a shame that we even have to go to, like, individuals have to go to this, like,
Yeah.
keep in mind is the trajectory for gaming is so bad, we have absolutely nothing to lose. I mean, how does gaming get worse than publishers destroying your games? We've already had a glimpse of the future,
they
too.
make worse games.
It's history now, but when Microsoft unveiled the original Xbox One, their plans showed us what game companies have in store for us.
Yeah,
A surveillance device necessary to use the system that collects
remember
biometric
that
data off
backlash.
you needing to
Yeah,
connect to
me
the company
too.
every 24 hours or else you're locked out of your system, and when they eventually end support, your entire game collection becomes unplayable. Welcome to the future. Now, soon afterwards, they realized they came in too hot and had to walk some of that back, but the industry has been taking the boiling
Oh
frog
my
approach
God.
since.
Sony's clapback was so good about that. But we
Yeah.
all know that Sony was wanting to do that too.
Yeah.
They just weren't dumb enough to try it.
This is where we're already headed if we don't do anything on this. Now, I can't say if this campaign will be successful or not, but what I can say is if people put in the minimum effort, then we are going to get answers on this and close the book on this one way or the other. Again, if we pass the petitions, governments have to respond and own that answer. If consumer agencies get enough complaints, they probably will too. We won't have any more of this no clear regulation crap. I can almost promise you that much. Plus, if we win, can you imagine how good it will feel in the future knowing all your games are safe and you only have to think about whether you like the game or not? That's my vision of gaming.
Yeah, like, how many of us have a massive fucking library of Steam games that we've never
Yeah.
played, that we've spent money on, and then what if one day they're just gone? You no longer can play them. It's
Yeah.
at least
There's
Steam
enough-
has been pretty consistent, but who knows what
Yeah.
will happen when Steam inevitably shuts down. Hey Aiden, how you doing?
Yeah. Hi, Aiden. There's also some more insight. I like most of the games on in my arcade cabinet. That you can play those indefinitely without a central server, except one.
Oh wow.
I don't know. I don't know if you heard this one. Goddess of Victory, Nikkei.
No, I don't think I actually have.
It's like a shooter game with anime girls and such. But I don't play it like most people play it. I play it like with a like on like one from the arcades and such. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
If you play
I
Time
remember the
Crisis.
glory days of being able to socialize in person and play video games together. Go down to an arcade, show off your skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, games like
miss
House
them.
of the Dead, Time Crisis. That Nikkei is one of those games, but it relies on a central server, even though it's mostly single player focused.
That's so frustrating. It really.
And
I hate the shift
yeah.
to service as a game.
Yeah, and once it takes microtransactions, and once people once the server shut down, they lose access to all of that. I thankfully haven't bought any of the microtransactions, but yeah.
I think it's butt jiggling is the anime girl shoots game. That does
Yeah,
sound
that's
up
the
my
one.
alley.
That's the one. That's the one. Aiden, you're correct.
for the future. It's a little different from the industries. And if we lose, we'll at least get told straight to our faces that in a democracy, you can never own video games that you paid for, no matter how many people want that to happen. I guess this will be a civics lesson then. Finally, I'd like to end this by saying thank you to Ubisoft. You're a French company and you pulled this crap. And you did it to one of your flagship titles with millions of players. If this had been Electronic Arts or Blizzard Activision, I wouldn't have had nearly the options that I do. And a month later, you made a
True.
PR statement of saying people should get comfortable not owning their games. And then go on to lie in that same interview about online games being safe as you're killing the crew. I mean, what are you gonna do next? Threaten the judge? Here I've been thinking I have no way to fight this.
Good lord, I would love to see that. Ubisoft threatening a judge.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them at that point, especially after this recent news that we're gonna show the audience.
Yeah. This is why physical copies are better than digital. Well, sometimes it's not because of the CD rotting, but still better than buying digital copies. Yeah.
It's kind of irrelevant when talking about games relying on central service because that physical copy will be useless.
Yeah, and like
no matter what.
one of my favorite games that I actually like to go back to is essentially sort of lost media. It's Rock Band 3 for the Xbox 360. I can't access any new songs. I can't re-download it. If it's gone, it's a complete virtual copy, but it's still on my 360. I can still load it up and play it. Oh, but it's moving
same
on.
with like same with like my
Here's new,
N64 games
great.
I used to have.
They are new. Sorry about that, Nessie.
You're fine.
And you go and create one of the best openings ever for me. Shame on me if I don't act on that. I mean, it's not perfect, but this is a solid 8.5, 9 out of 10 opportunity here. If we can't win on this, we'll never win. There's no doubt in my mind. You set yourself up for us, so we'll swing as hard as we can and see what happens. All right, that's it. Go to stopkillinggames.com.
There's after credits.
Don't forget about the European Citizens Initiative. It's coming in a few months.
Okay. I DM'd you something on Twitter.
I am also checking.
on Discord. Actually, it's a Twitter link.
Also pulling up stopkillinggames.com. Take action here. Canada. I'm just seeing if I have to put in any legal name or anything.
Petition's not up yet.
Oh, it's not up yet?
Yeah, he said so. Unless something changed.
The current status is our campaign has successfully submitted a proposal to the Canadian government to prohibit the video game publishers from leaving games in an inoperable state for all customers once they end support. It is still being approved to be open to signing, but it is unknown how long it'll take. So I'm gonna have to keep my eye on this. I do not own the crew, so I can't do anything on that. And step 3, I'm doing my best. Okay, so you sent me a Discord message.
Yeah.
Oh, I put out a tweet.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you. Yeah, it makes Ubisoft makes it look even worse.
So Mario 3D Collection, you can't even play the digital version anymore? What the hell?
Yeah, that sucks.
Okay, so here is the tweet. Actually, I should follow this dude. I'm terrible at remembering to follow people. StopKillingGames.com has been making far more news than I anticipated, but this might be the first article that's because of something new Ubisoft is doing, not us. I encourage anyone interested in the law in Europe, especially, to analyze this behavior. And they link a PC Gamer article.
Yeah.
stripping people's licenses for the crew weeks after it's shutting down, nearly squandering hopes of fan servers, and acting as a stark reminder of how volatile digital ownership is. Right, I actually heard about that. I saw one of my friends, Len Airhead, post that even he doesn't have access to the crew anymore on his Ubisoft thing because they owned it.
No.
It's all grayed out. Can't re-download it. Can't play it. Nothing.
Yeah, can you ask Len to DM me a screenshot of that? Because yeah.
Oh, give me.
I believe them 100%. I'm just
No, they tweeted it out.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, I just got to be very. I can't show it on stream just in case. What if not safe for work stuff? But they do have like a not safe for work channel separately. You just never know. Oh, right here.
There it is.
Oh yeah, I'm sharing my screen with you. Boop. Not available. They really pulled the game out of everyone's Ubisoft library. I still have it installed, but fucking hell. I guess I have something to completely mess with. So yeah.
Can you please retweet this and like it? I want more people to know.
I'll spread the word some.
Thanks.
Though I don't get as much engagement as I would like on my my own
I'm number
tweets
3.
and stuff.
That's why I'm asking.
But yeah, spreading the word. Ubisoft. Is there anything else we want to add to this? I don't really know.
Something that I think is very encouraging is like there's a lot of popular YouTubers that are covering this.
Oh,
that
that's
I didn't
good.
think that would like Mudahar, if you heard of them, Philip DeFranco.
I've heard of them. Watched a video or two.
Bellier News, Asmon Gold.
Well, it's good that there's a lot of
Linus Tech Tips, like
Linus too.
Yeah, on their WAN show podcast thingy. But yeah.
Still, it's good that people are spreading the word.
Yeah. Even Young A too, I think, in one video covering Ubisoft.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Yang A. He's got good videos.
Yeah.
YouTube just has a habit. Yeah.
Plus, he's a good voice actor too.
Oh, phenomenal voice actor. I've watched a bunch of his videos. It's been like, but YouTube has a habit of deciding to shift what it's recommending me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess to wrap this all up, games as service are bad. StopKillingGames.com.
StopKillingGames.com. There's the site. Do what you can.
Big stretchy. Do you want to say or shout yourself out again for the end of the video kind of thing?
Hey, I'm Nessie. I do stuff. And I dance for a club.
Yeah, you don't really do a whole lot of linking directly.
Discord.gg says hellbound. That's my club.
Oh,
Shouting it
nice.
out now.
Okay, have a good night and thanks for coming on.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Good night, everyone. You too.
Thanks for watching. Like it if you like it, dislike if you didn't. Let me know in the comments why you think I'm wrong. Check out the community on Discord. And remember, if you can't be the sharpest tool in the shed, you can always be the hoe. Just want to take a quick second and thank all the people who have joined my channel as one of my beeps. So thank you, Joestar, JM, Kudere Fanboy, Sashime, and Fusspuzz.